Now, Eyewitness Sports.
Welcome to the latest episode of Double OT with Mark Dondero. I'm Yianni Kourakis, taping this on a Tuesday. NFL free agency, championship week, college hoops. We've got a lot to get to on this night. We start with the Patriots and free agency. A lot of moving parts, Mark, when you talk about Jimmy Garoppolo. Is LeGarrette Blount staying? Is Martellus Bennett staying? Jabal Sheard, Alan Branch. What should the Patriots do in terms of guys that are currently on their roster? I didn't mention Malcolm Butler, maybe the biggest.
Well, they're doing what they normally do right now, taking care of a few of their lesser players, if you will. Cam Fleming. Now, that's nice. I like Cam Fleming.
James Devlin.
He's great. James Devlin's great. But it'd be nice with $62 million in cap space if, I know they're about value, but let's start re-signing some boys, huh? Dante Hightower, I'd like to see him back. Now, my priority is Malcolm Butler. They had too much futility with cornerback specifically over the last, 2008, 2009 until 2013 and the year they signed Revis. I want to see Malcolm Butler, whom you didn't draft, but you signed out of college. You cultivated him. He became a Super Bowl hero, an All-Pro. I'd like to see him back. Now, he's a restricted free agent. I'd like to see him back. That's number one. And then guys like Alan Branch, thought he had a good year. I don't think he's going to command a ton of money. I'd like to see that guy come back, that player. And if you can get Hightower done, you can get him done. But as we know, just because they have the money, they look for the value and they look for the fit and all that other stuff. So we'll see what happens. But it starts with Malcolm Butler for me, and then let's go from there. But let's make a signing.
Yeah, apparently he's wasn't happy with being underpaid.
I don't blame him.
But he kept his mouth shut in the locker room,
That's
which
right.
is good for him. Yeah, if you get Butler done, that's huge. Obviously, he signs the Pats signed him to a first-round tender. So is another team going to wipe him away with some offer, and did they lose him? I don't think so. But let's get this deal done so he's not disgruntled, and then we're talking about it all season long. I mean, we were talking about Hightower and Butler and Collins prior to him being dealt all season anyway. Let's get Butler done. I'd like to see Hightower get done. Listen, if someone's going to pay him above market value, way above, and the Patriots don't want to get there, they're going to let him go.
Right.
But how are you feeling next year at linebacker with Kyle Van Noy and a Landon Roberts and no one really of
Shane
substance?
McClellan.
I mean, you go back, you have Gerard Mayo. Before that, you have Brewski. When was the last time they didn't have a middle linebacker, that was a team leader and a good player?
And Bill has done a pretty good job drafting at linebacker. Even a guy like Brandon Spikes, he ended up in the starting lineup for a stretch there. So not a great player, but that was a problem.
495.
Pretty unathletic, was bad in coverage.
I'd like to see. I think Bennett's gone. I don't think they bring him back because he wants $9 million. That would give him $1 million more than Gronk. I don't see that happening. I think they can draft a tight end to complement Gronk. I think Sheard's probably gone as a pass rusher. I'd like to see Branch back, as you mentioned. And let's talk about Jimmy G here. The latest is that now the Browns would give up number 12. So if they give up number 12 in a 1 and 18, did you do that?
Blunt, I also think, is gone real quick. I would let him go and get somebody else in the draft or whatever. I'm sorry, the question was if they're giving up the 12th pick.
Yeah, and a first and 18.
Do I do that? Are you kidding? Yeah.
Or what if it's a first? I don't know what they have for first. And if it's their first overall
Are you asking me if they give up 2 first-round picks, do I do that? Yes.
All right. What if it's just number 12?
Yes.
Just number 12.
Yes.
You do it for Garoppolo.
Yeah. Well, listen. I don't know what what's gonna happen here with Tom Brady. So yes, if they're offering the 12th overall
just
pick,
number 12 for Garoppolo, straight up.
It appears that the Patriots and Bill Belichick really like Jimmy Garoppolo. That's what it appears to be.
Yeah.
But if they're giving you a 12 and Tom Brady is serious about playing 4 more years, and Belichick knows more than us, I brought this up on the radio. The Patriots have lied before at the podium during press conferences. They do it all the time. They have to. Belichick doesn't tell us everything. Brady certainly doesn't tell us everything.
It's not a lie if you believe it, though.
So, who's to say Tom Brady, who says he wants to play 4, 5, 6 more years, who's to say that maybe he doesn't want to play that much longer or that long? And maybe they've had conversations about how long he's going to play, how long he plans to play, and it isn't that long. Maybe. We don't know. So we'll have to, I do think
I
that
prefer
Brady
them
is
to
sincere.
shop Garoppolo this year. And if they don't, it tells me they're going to franchise him next year, and they're going with Jimmy G in 2019.
I'm on the record as saying, I want them to decide now. I want them to either go with Tom Brady or go with Jimmy Garoppolo. I don't want this game where you have two girlfriends. That never seems to end well. I've never done it. Never ends well.
Get caught a lot of times.
Yeah, it just doesn't. You have Jimmy Garoppolo. You talked about you didn't want Malcolm Butler disgruntled. I don't think, now, not that you're worried about Jimmy Garoppolo long term necessarily if you're trying to trade, I don't know. But you don't want anybody disgruntled, ideally.
Yeah.
So keeping him around, I'm not sure I love it. And if Brady is sincere about playing for 4 or 5 more years, I would absolutely take the 12th overall pick and take a guy right now. Absolutely.
I will say this. I think Garoppolo's probably a little overrated for the 6 quarters we've seen. But what's out there right now for quarterbacks? None of these kids in college are sure bets.
And you take it, right.
Ryan, what's Glennon's name? From
Mike Glennon.
Mike
$15 million a year.
$15 million.
For crying out loud.
Teams are desperate.
If you take a quarterback with the first overall pick and he becomes a bust, well, then you've set your franchise back. The big problem with Jimmy Garoppolo is, will he sign with the Browns long term? You don't want to give up a first or 2 firsts, and then he's out of there, and he doesn't want to play there or something. Now, because that's talking about setting you back. So
there you go.
Speaking of free agents, that was the Patriots and the guys that they're trying to retain. What about guys that aren't currently on the Patriots who will be free agents that you would like to see them sign, maybe a wish list guy or two?
All right, if Blunt's out the door, like you say he may or could be, I'm good with bringing Adrian Peterson.
Okay.
Traditional first, second round back, take a little bit of the weight off Tom Brady, assuming the price is right. Good downhill runner. Then you put in James White and Deion Lewis in third down. Desperate for a ring. Super Bowl's in Minneapolis. He'd have a lot to prove. He's got some off the field issues. The Patriots have never shied away, good or bad, for off-field issues. Cooks, Brennan from New Orleans that they apparently were interested in. If Bill's offering stuff this early in the game or last week, and he likes him enough, bring him in, because I want him in. And then, you know what I want? I want the Chris Hogan of last year, the Alan Branch of the year, the guy that we may not know or think is underrated that becomes a real big contributor to the Patriots. So whoever those guys are, that like this time last year, Patriots signed Chris Hogan $4 million a year. Like, oh, cool. The guy was in Buffalo. He was okay. And then he ends up being a big contributor. So whoever those guys are out there, and Bill knows who they are, give me a few of them.
I think Karen Guregian of the Boston Herald reported that Adrian Peterson would take less to become part of the New England Patriots. I think it was her. It does sort of have a Corey Dillon feel to it.
Sure.
If you bring that guy in late in his career, still productive, but entrenched in the back nine, I wouldn't hate that. I will go with a defensive player because I think defense is where you want to stay well stocked. And there's a safety in Arizona, 25 years old. His name is Tony Jefferson. Now, I don't know his game real well, but I would say he would be an upgrade from Patrick Chung. You're probably going to lose Deron Harmon. With the way that they have their sub packages on the field, almost
your
most of the game now
is like a starter essentially.
Right, that fifth defensive back. So you want a guy, you want depth there. I like cornerback. Obviously, if they lose Logan Ryan, that hurts. But Tony Jefferson is a playmaker. He's never been to a Pro Bowl, I don't think. So he shouldn't command huge money. But he's more of a wish list guy because when a free agent is 25 and a good player, those guys usually get paid. But that would be a wish list guy. I have a defensive piece.
Okay. Let's move on to college hoops.
Well, what about my man here, Bill?
Oh, Bill. What are we doing about Bill?
We're going to talk about Bill Polian.
Okay. It is well known you are not a fan of Bill Polian.
I'm not a fan of Bill Polian.
For those that don't know, he was the longtime executive of the Indianapolis Colts. Very critical of the Patriots over the years. Complained to the NFL when Ty Law and the Pats DBs were getting rough and tough with the Colts, and they essentially changed the rule.
So part of the competition committee at the time got the rule changed?
Previously he was with the Bills. He's a Hall of Famer. But has had his issues with the Patriots. Said today he had a first-round grade for Tom Brady, which can't be true because he would have picked him. He picked a quarterback that year, right? Later in the... I
don't think he did. Okay. I don't know.
At any rate, he said that today. What do you make of it?
Did you know that once upon a time I dated Mandy Moore and I dated Scarlett Johansson? No.
Mandy Moore?
I don't know. She looks good on This Is Us. Wow. Just incredible. Like, what are you doing, sir? What are you doing, sir? Like, no. You did not have a... if this man, Bill William, if he had a first round grade on Tom Brady, and Tom Brady was available in the 5th round, in the 4th round even, you're taking Tom Brady. You don't care if you don't have a need at quarterback. He didn't do that. I have no proof. I have no interview from 2000 saying I love Tom Brady, or even notes that he made public. So I don't believe him. I think yes, he has his thing with the Patriots. He doesn't like the Patriots. I think he's an overrated executive. I don't believe him. And I am Batman.
You tweeted that today, standard Dondero tweet, which I don't know what it means. You're saying you're Batman, which isn't true.
Well, it's just like, yeah, okay, yeah, sure, you're Batman, and yeah, sure, you had a first-round grade on Bill Polian.
First off, this is, 17 years ago? All of a sudden, in year 17, I always liked that Brady.
Yeah, right.
What?
And not only that, he also said, like, he had a high grade. He would have drafted Ben Roethlisberger and Aaron Rodgers if he did.
Yeah, I think he misremembered that, or kind of like when Brian Williams was telling stories and he wasn't really there.
Right.
Kind of just, he's getting old. He's kind of creating this. Also, he obviously had Peyton Manning in his back pocket, so maybe he was saying to a friend at the time, oh, the Brady kid isn't bad. But do we have tangible evidence on a note card? Tom Brady, first-round potential. No.
You know what I think? I think what happened was he just kind of thought quick and processed in his mind wherever he was saying this on an interview or whatever. And he said, you know what, they can't ever prove this. I kind of like them. I'll just say I had a first-round grade.
Yeah. You know what I love about the whole Indy-New England dynamic? When Brady was, Bill Belichick was on NFL Network the other day, he was talking to Willie McGinnis, and he had a quick barb in there that he was like, yeah, I did this, and then they changed the rule on me. It wasn't the DEB thing. It was another, what was he alluding to at the time, Belichick?
On changing the rule?
Yeah.
I don't remember changing the rule.
Whatever it was. On a couple occasions, Belichick always thinks the NFL is kind of after him.
Yeah, he loves needling the NFL.
Obviously, Deflategate and everything.
Oh,
else.
I remember I can't remember exactly what the topic was, but I remember him saying about.
Yeah, and he was a great spirit. Bill has had a great offseason.
Of course.
Checking out lacrosse games everywhere.
Yeah. You know what? It kind of reminds me of the Brady post Super Bowl offseason from 2 years ago. Remember that? Yeah. He played Augusta with Rory McIlroy, Augusta National.
He went to Kentucky Derby, and then the Mayweather fight that night.
Mayweather fight, and he was in the Bahamas with Michael Jordan, Keegan Bradley, playing basketball. That was an off season.
Yeah, I think I tell you something interesting about Brady today. His shipment of food that he's sending to people, eat like a Brady. I know it's a marketing ploy from the company that's doing it, but the hashtag was eat like a goat, which is a double entendre, like literally eat the vegetables on the ground like a goat. But acknowledging, even him putting into words that he's the greatest. We never see that at him.
You'll never hear him say it, but he will authorize.
But it's his account.
Yeah, but you'll never hear him say it. It was like you said, it was the company that came up with the tagline.
Yeah,
he's never going to call himself the goat. Okay, so let's go to college basketball, as we said, or as you said a minute ago. PC, you or I getting set for the conference tournament. What do you expect from both teams this week?
I think PC, they don't need to win anything. I think they're fine right now, but I think they beat Creighton in the 3-6 game Thursday. And then I think they probably lose to Butler on Friday, but at that point, that's fine. They get into the tournament for the 4th year in a row, probably as like a 10 seed. URI, all right, so they have to, we think, get to at least the finals to get into the tournament. I think they end up playing St. Bonaventure Friday, winning. I'm going to say they beat Dayton, 3rd time's a charm, and then lose to VCU, but then they get in as an at-large.
I think they're going to get in.
You think they win the tournament, though? I think they're talented enough to win the tournament.
I think they win the tournament.
You think and that was on that. Hold on. Are you saying they're getting in now? Because the last 2 weeks when we've been doing this, you're saying they weren't going to get in. Are they in now?
I think they're in.
They're going to win the tournament.
I think they win the A-10 tournament. URI, the Rams. I think they go in there, and PC's in. There's not a lot of suspense there for Providence because they're in. Doesn't matter. I've been really impressed with Providence down the stretch. By the way, I think both teams could make runs. The draw is the big question.
And you don't want to be. PC doesn't want to play too well and get an 8-9 because then you play like last year they were an 8-9-1 and then you play 1 seed UNC.
UCLA,
so being
UCLA.
a 10 is sweet.
Yeah. I think URI is playing very well. They have confidence. I just think they're going to do it. I think they're going to do it, and they're going to get in the tournament. They're going to get into the tournament by winning the A-10 tournament. I don't know what else to tell you. I just think it's their time.
I thought this was, I was with Hurley yesterday. You were with him today. I thought it was telling when he told you He's had seasons where he's lost 15 pounds from all the anxiety and stress of a season weighing down on you. No pun intended. And this year, he's fine. So maybe he's kind of at peace with everything.
You know what I'll say? Here's what I think about URI and why I think they have a really good chance to make some people turn their heads. They, I believe, have finally kind of figured out how to win and win in big games. They've gone through some adversity. They've persevered through some adversity. Injuries, tough losses, home losses, not living up to early expectations, losing to Providence. Again, and now they have found a way to get around all that, come through all that, and they're right there with the tournament sitting in front of them. They've come through all that, they've persevered, and they've found a way to win big games, as we saw down the stretch, and I think that benefits them in the tournament. I think they're going dancing.
That'd be something, first time in 20 years that both teams would be in. We'll have to wait and see. Should be an exciting week. Small Man and I are going out to New York on Thursday.
All right.
I haven't covered the Big East tournament. You have. What's it like?
You've never gone?
No, you go every year.
It's fun.
Or
It's fun.
Way,
yeah, it's fun. Once you find a spot to go live, it's fun. It'll be better for you.
Studio.
Yeah, it's better for you but that place was quiet.
It was good.
It had the feel of New York. I mean, it'll be better for you because you'll have somebody to help with the equipment getting to and from the arena. That's the worst part.
Is it a corporate crowd, like bankers leaving the office, or is it like fans?
I mean, some alumni could be bankers in New York. I'll tell you though, you'll love. So where do you sit? I sat courtside every time, right on the court with a comfortable table. Yeah. You can't shoot the games.
I did that at NCAA tournament too. Well, I think I actually stole the seat from people because the NCAA, there's so much media, they try to kind of put you up in the seats.
So yeah, then
so
if
I'm
but it's the Garden though. It's Madison Square Garden.
I haven't been to the Garden.
One of the times I actually stole a ball and took a shot and hit a three.
You hit it? One shot? You hit
it? No, I think it took me a couple, but I wanted to say.
What is that, like 1 a.m. after a game?
No, I forget. But there weren't many people around.
Teams are warming up. And
I just kept shooting. And then I was like, if somebody kicks me out, I'll probably be fired. So
John Starks over here. Yeah. All right, our last topic: Isaiah Thomas. The Celtics lost to the LA Clippers last night. Kind of threw his coach under the bus. Talking about tinkering with the lineup or whatever in Game 63. We know he plays like a superstar, not quite paid like a superstar, but is he now acting like a disgruntled superstar?
Yes, he is. Isaiah Thomas, there's a lot I like about Isaiah Thomas. A lot. He's not afraid. He has a ton of confidence. He has an edge, a chip on his shoulder. I like that. The problem is when some of that carries over into other things, that's where he gets into trouble. Witness what he said, not just after the Clippers loss, but after the Phoenix loss, where he was the one that fumbled the ball. He starts throwing Jay Crowder under the bus. I thought he was going to, what did he say? I thought he was going to pass it in sooner or something like that. No. You love Tom Brady. You want to eat lunch with Tom Brady. Tom Brady doesn't do that stuff. No. Tom Brady would never say stuff like that. So I don't want to hear Isaiah. I like a lot about Isaiah Thomas, but this is becoming a habit, and this isn't the first time he's talked about Brad Stevens to the media, where he had a, should I say something? Should I not say something? I don't like that. I don't think he's a max player based on play. He's playing like a superstar this year, but he is not a guy that I think we, give all the money in the world to and have him carry the Celtics to a championship.
I don't think he can be your best player and win a championship, but he's certainly a talented guy, and with the right pieces around him, I think they can go far. I don't like this at all. I don't like the attitude issue. Is he reading his own press clippings, as they like to say? You're an all-star. You're averaging 30 a game. He's had a couple quotes where I average. Like when his streak for averaging 20-plus a game went up, he was like, I'll start another streak. It shouldn't be about the streak. It should be about the team. And what worries me about Brad Stevens is coming from Butler, you kind of control the message, control the players in a college program. In the pros, part of the reason Phil Jackson was so great is dealing with egos and personalities. Mm-hmm. And generally speaking, the Celtics haven't had any huge egos. So this is the first time Brad Stevens has had to kind of deal with this. So, hopefully he and Thomas can make things work. I don't think it's like at panic alert time at any point, but, not a great sign. Listen, it's 82 games. These guys are with each other every day, traveling. This stuff happens over the course of the season. It's not the end. The Cavaliers won a championship last year with firing their coach and with LeBron with cryptic social media messages.
LeBron is LeBron.
LeBron's
this
LeBron.
is not
But I'm
LeBron.
saying it's not unheard of to have some issues throughout the year. NBA season.
But I do not like Isaiah Thomas talking publicly about things that should be talked about privately. I don't like that, especially a guy, like we said, who's not the top 3 player in the league, and you owe him everything. He's a really good player, having a great season, but that doesn't do anybody any favors, and it certainly doesn't help the Celtics when he's talking and throwing guys under the bus.
And he doesn't want to say that to his teammates, because then you don't want it to be Thomas here and the other 11 guys over here.
I just think this is where I kind of think his edge and his chip, the chip that's on his shoulder, gets the best of him, and it manifests himself in a bad way, because he's talking too much. He's talking about his teammates, his coaches. I mean, who do you think you are? You're a good player. Keep the chip, but tone it down.
He's IT.
No, tone it down. IT wasn't anything in the fourth quarter last night.
All right, that'll end it on this latest edition of Double OT. You want to add anything?
Have a good trip.
I think we're getting on iTunes. That's what Lee says.
Yes.
If you're listening to this now on iTunes, this has been a success.
Okay.
Mark Dondero, I'm Yianni Kourakis. We will see you next time.